I don't think GDP is a perfect measure of economic development, absolutely, in absolute terms. Because especially borrowing from my economic studies previously, we could explore use of the Lorenz curve. The Lorenz curve measures the level of disparity between the poor and the rich. We need to now, especially probably in the future budgets, to try and explain what is the level of inequalities between the poor and the rich, because there need to be a more lesser difference between the rich and the poor, and that will better inform our taxation system. And if we explore that as an alternative to GDP, we'll be able to correct the disparities that are there, the inequalities that are there in terms of economic distribution. The other way, we could also explore a perfect way of measuring economic development is also looking at the marginal propensity for people to save. Because if I'm not able to save, it means I'm living hand to mouth. And actually, just by measuring in terms of our contribution, in terms of our growth in savings, like for instance, savings in the SACCO industry, savings in the banking industry, in pension schemes, then it will actually help us to measure how far have we come in terms of growth as an alternative to the GDP. As Osborne has put it, that you will have, they're saying that the GDP has grown, but most of it is infrastructural development, which has been built by foreigners, and most of the money probably has been repatriated. So we are measuring economic growth using GDP, but the people, in terms of even the small salary they are earning from working as casuals on the roads, all of it is spent on basic needs, and even they are not even able to meet their basic requirements, leave alone talking about savings. So we need, even, like for instance, in America, we have the American Dream. The life that a person is supposed to live to actually say, I'm living the American Dream. Probably we need to come up with the Kenyan Dream. If you're able to afford food, you're able to afford education for your kids, healthcare, you're able to afford and even save something, we will say that one now you are living the Kenyan Dream. And probably do a budget and say, with the 20,000 shillings or 15,000 shillings, you are in urban areas, you are able to live the Kenyan dream. So we need to use the Lorenz curve, one, to measure the level of disparity between the rich and the poor, and the more the Lorenz curve narrows down towards the line of equal distribution, then we will say our economy is actually achieving maturity. And then two, it's very easy, just see what is the growth in our pension schemes, in terms of the savings. Last time I was talking to a colleague of mine in NSSF, and I was so disappointed that they're not even more than $500 million in terms of pensions. That's a very low level of the money that has been put into pension schemes. And the reason is because people don't just have money even just to exceed the minimum contribution to pension scheme. If you look at the minimum contribution of the pension scheme, that money cannot take care of anybody even for more than 2 years or 3 years in terms of after retirement. So that could also be another alternative measure on how economy is growing. So probably in future budgets we need to explore these parameters and see comparatively to the GDP, are we achieving a qualitative economic progression here?
Yeah. Ronald, in all fairness, the last time I had Lawrence curve, I was in economics class.
Yeah.